Today was October 10th. In the quiet city of Seoul, the rain hammered against the floor-to-ceiling windows of the private syndicate hall like bullets against steel. Seoul's luxury district glittered below, neon lights bleeding through the downpour, painting the night in shades of red and gold. Inside, the air was thick with cigar smoke and tension. Kang Min-Jae pushed through the heavy oak doors, his tailored black suit soaked from the rain. Water dripped from his hair onto the marble floor. Conversations died mid-sentence. Glasses paused halfway to lips. Even the bartender froze. Because standing at the center of the room, beneath the crystal chandelier, was the woman he'd divorced exactly 2 weeks ago, Nia Brooks. But she wasn't the Nia he remembered. The woman who used to flinch when he raised his voice. The woman who apologized for breathing too loudly. The woman he'd humiliated in front of the entire syndicate leadership. This woman stood tall in a black pantsuit that screamed authority. Her natural curls, which he'd always insisted she straighten, fell freely past her shoulders. Her brown skin glowed under the chandelier light. And she was standing beside his younger brother. Before we continue with this story, if you are a lover of romance stories, dark romance, contemporary romance, enemies to love, possessive bosses and all the rest of them, take a second to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next story. We upload quality and heartfelt romance stories on this channel every day just for you. Let's dive back to this amazing story. Kang Do-han had his hand resting lightly on the small of her back. Not possessively, protectively. Min-Jae's chest tightened. His hands curled into fists. Elder Park, the syndicate's second-in-command, was mid-conversation with her. He was actually listening, nodding, taking notes. The shipment routes through Busan are compromised, Nisha said, her voice steady and clear. I've already negotiated alternative channels through Incheon. The profit margin increases by 17%, and we cut transit time by 3 days. Elder Park smiled. Actually smiled. Brilliant strategy, Miss Brooks. Miss Brooks, not Mrs. Kang. Not the foreigner. Not the weakness. Min-Jae's world tilted. Do-hyun noticed him first. His younger brother's expression didn't change, but his hand moved from Nia's back to his side. A subtle shift. A claim withdrawn. Or perhaps a line drawn. Nia turned. Her eyes met Min-Jae's across the room. He expected fear. Sadness. Maybe even longing. He saw nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like looking at a stranger. The room watched. Waiting. The Kang brothers hadn't been in the same space since the divorce. Since Min-Jae had accused Do-hyun of being too soft. Since the family had fractured. Min-Jae walked forward. Each step echoed. The crowd parted like water. He stopped 3 feet from her. Close enough to smell her perfume. Different perfume. Not the one he'd bought her. Something warmer. Spicier. Nia. His voice came out rougher than intended. Mr. Kang. Polite. Distant. Professional. Mr. Kang. The words hit like a slap. We need to talk. I'm in the middle of a business meeting. I don't care. Elder Park cleared his throat. Perhaps we should give you privacy. No need. Nia interrupted smoothly. Mr. Kang and I have nothing private to discuss. If he has syndicate business, he can address it here. Min-Jae's jaw clenched. This isn't syndicate business. Then I'm not interested. She turned back to Elder Park. As I was saying, the Incheon route. Min-Jae grabbed her wrist. The room went silent. Deathly silent. Do-hyun stepped forward. Hung. Don't. Min-Jae didn't look at his brother. Only at her. 2 minutes. Please. Nia looked down at his hand on her wrist. When she looked back up, her eyes were glacial. You're touching me without permission. He released her like she'd burned him. She rubbed her wrist slowly, deliberately, making a point. Then she glanced at her watch. 2 minutes. The hallway. She walked past him without waiting for acknowledgement. Her heels clicked against marble. Confident. Unhurried. Min-Jae followed. The hallway was empty. Rain pounded against a nearby window. The sounds from the meeting room faded behind the closed door. Nia crossed her arms. You have 90 seconds left. I want you back. The words tumbled out. Raw. Unplanned.
Nothing like the speech he'd rehearsed in the car. She blinked. Once. Then laughed. It wasn't a kind laugh. It was sharp. Cutting. The laugh of someone who'd heard the world's worst joke. "You want me back," she repeated. "You divorced me 14 days ago. Called me a liability in front of 40 witnesses. Had your lawyers serve me papers while I was grocery shopping. And now you want me back. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Nia, that's not my name anymore." Her voice didn't rise. Didn't need to. That woman, the one who answered to that name in that soft voice you liked, she died the day you humiliated her. "I'm someone else now. I see that." His eyes traveled over her. The suit, the posture, the power. "What did my brother promise you?" "Nothing. Don't lie to me." "I don't lie. I don't need to anymore." She checked her watch again. 30 seconds. "He's using you to get back at me. The world doesn't revolve around you, Min-Jae." First time she'd used his name. It felt like a concession and a weapon simultaneously. "Du-han gave me something you never did. Respect. The chance to be more than decoration. And I took it. You're my wife." Was. Past tense. Legal documents signed. Very thorough. Your lawyers made sure of that. Min-Jae stepped closer. Close enough to see the flecks of gold in her brown eyes. Eyes he used to kiss closed. "I was protecting the family. The elders were questioning your place. So you threw me away. No emotion. Just fact. Rather than defend me, you sacrificed me. I understand the logic. Cold. Calculated. Very you. It was temporary. I was going to bring you back after things settled. Were you?" She tilted her head. "Is that why you had the apartment locks changed? Why you transferred all joint accounts to your name only? Why you told Elder To I was, quote, a momentary lapse in judgment?" He had no answer. Because she was right. He'd burned every bridge, salted the earth, made sure she'd have nowhere to go. Nowhere but back to him. Broken. Dependent. Except she hadn't come back. "How did you do it?" The question escaped before he could stop it. "You had nothing. No money. No connections. No protection. I had myself." She smiled. Small. Genuine. Turns out that was enough. The door opened. Du-han stepped into the hallway. "Elder Park is waiting." Coming. Nia moved toward the door. Min-Jae grabbed her arm again. Gentler this time. "Nia, please. Just listen." Du-han's hand shot out, gripping Min-Jae's wrist. Not violently. Firmly. She said she's coming. The brothers locked eyes. Years of history. Rivalry. Brotherhood. Resentment. Love. All of it swirling in the space between them. "Let go," Min-Jae said quietly. "You first." Min-Jae released Nia. Du-han released Min-Jae. Nia walked back into the meeting without looking back. Du-han started to follow, but Min-Jae caught his shoulder. "What's your game?" "No game, Hong. You expect me to believe you're helping her out of kindness." Du-han's expression hardened. "I expect you to believe that I'm not you. I don't help people to control them." She's confused. Angry. "You're taking advantage. She's the smartest person in that room, and you're the only one who never saw it." Du-han shrugged off his brother's hand. "You didn't lose her to me. You lost her to your arrogance." He walked back inside, leaving Min-Jae alone in the hallway with the rain and his thoughts. If you're enjoying this story, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. This is just the beginning. 3 months earlier, Min-Jae had loved her, or thought he did. Love in their world was complicated, dangerous, a weakness enemies could exploit. They'd met at a charity gala. She was a translator, hired to help international donors. Half Korean, half African American, born in Seoul but raised in Atlanta. Fluent in 4 languages. Smart, beautiful, different. He'd been intrigued, then captivated, then obsessed. The courtship was fast, intense. He showered her with gifts, attention, protection. She'd been hesitant at first, knowing his reputation, but he'd been persistent, charming. He'd promised her the world. They married within 6 months. The first year was golden. He took her everywhere, showed her off. She was exotic, interesting, a conversation piece. But the syndicate whispered, foreign blood. She doesn't understand our ways. A liability. Min-Jae heard the whispers, and slowly, they infected him like poison. He started controlling her movements. For her safety, he said. She needed security guards. She needed to check in. She needed permission to leave the house. It's just how things work here, he'd explained when she questioned him. You're a target now. My enemies will use you against me. She'd accepted it, adjusted, became smaller. The second year was gray. She attended meetings but didn't speak, stood beside him but didn't engage. The vibrant woman he'd married faded into a shadow. Why don't you ever talk? He'd snapped one night after a particularly tense syndicate dinner. You told me not to, she'd replied quietly. I told you not to embarrass me. There's a difference. What's the difference? He hadn't had an answer. By the third year, he barely saw her. She was furniture. Beautiful. Expensive. Ultimately useless. Elder Cho had been the first to openly question her value. She produces no heirs, makes no connections. What purpose does she serve? Min-Jae had defended her then, weakly. But the seed was planted. And when tensions with the Busana faction escalated, when the syndicate needed to project strength and unity, when every weakness needed to be eliminated, he'd made his choice. The divorce papers were delivered by courier on a Tuesday afternoon. She'd been buying groceries for a dinner party he'd forgotten he'd agreed to attend. She called him. Once. Is this real? Her voice had been steady. Too steady. It's necessary. I see. She'd hung up. Didn't call back. Didn't show up at the house. Didn't fight. She'd simply vanished. For the first week, Min-Jae felt relief. The elders approved. The Busan situation stabilized. Business improved. For the second week, he felt nothing. Went through the motions. Worked. Drank. Slept. He didn't look for her. His pride wouldn't allow it. She'd come back. They always came back. But she didn't. And when he walked into that syndicate meeting and saw her standing there, powerful and present and utterly beyond his reach, he realized he'd made the biggest mistake of his life. What Min-Jae didn't know, couldn't know, was what happened in those 2 weeks. Nia had left the grocery store in a daze. Divorce papers in her purse. Cucumbers and bell peppers abandoned in the cart. She'd walked for hours, through Seoul's crowded streets, past couples holding hands, families laughing, life continuing like her world hadn't just shattered. By midnight, she'd found herself in a part of the city she didn't recognize. Industrial, empty, dangerous. 3 men emerged from an alley. She recognized the tattoos. Busan faction. Min-Jae's enemies. Well, the leader said in Korean. The boss's ex-wife. All alone. She'd run, heels breaking, legs burning. They'd caught her easily. The leader grabbed her hair. Min-Jae Kang thinks he can divorce his way out of obligations. Maybe we'll send him a message. The knife gleamed in the streetlight. Nia closed her eyes. A gunshot cracked through the air. The men scattered. Do-hyun lowered his weapon. Get in the car. She'd stared at him. Min-Jae's younger brother. The one nobody took seriously. The soft one. The disappointment. Now, he'd said. She got in the car. Do-hyun drove in silence. Not to the family estate. Not to a hospital. To a small apartment in a quiet neighborhood. You'll be safe here, he said. Why are you helping me? Because someone should. He'd left. Returned an hour later with medical supplies. Food. Clean clothes. How did you know where I was? She'd asked. I've been following you since this afternoon. Figured you might do something stupid. Like get murdered. Like give up. He'd set the supplies on the counter. Min-Jae's an idiot. But you're not. So don't act like one. Then he'd left again. For 3 days, she stayed in that apartment. Crying. Raging. Breaking down. Do-hyun checked on her twice daily. Didn't push. Didn't pry. Just made sure she ate. Made sure she was safe. On the 4th day, he'd found her at the kitchen table, surrounded by news articles about the syndicate. What are you doing? He'd asked. Research. She'd looked up at him, eyes red but determined. I was married to a mafia boss for 3 years. I sat in hundreds of meetings. I heard everything. I know everything. I just never used it. And now I'm going to. She'd stood. Teach me. Teach you what? How to be what your brother thought I couldn't be. Useful. Du-hen had studied her for a long moment. Then he'd smiled. Okay. The training started small. Du-hen explained the syndicate's structure, the territories, the alliances, the feuds. Nia absorbed everything like a sponge. She had a photographic memory for details, names, dates, deals. Everything Min-Jae had discussed in her presence, thinking she wasn't listening. The Incheon ports, she said one afternoon. Min-Jae mentioned them 3 months ago. Said they were unreliable because of customs issues. They are. Du-hun confirmed. But what if we worked with customs instead of around them? Legitimate business fronts. Legal shipments with illegal additions. Du-hun had leaned forward. Keep talking. She'd outlined a plan. Detailed. Thorough. Brilliant. How long have you been thinking about this? He'd asked. 3 years. I just never said anything. Why not? Because Min-Jae never asked. Du-hun had implemented her plan. It worked. Perfectly. Profit margins increased. Risk decreased. Elder Park noticed. Whose strategy is this? He'd demanded. Du-hun had hesitated, protecting her. But Nia had stepped forward. Mine, she'd said. Elder Park had studied her. The ex-wife, the strategist, she'd corrected. And slowly, grudgingly, the syndicate had listened. She'd negotiated with suppliers, using her language skills to cut better deals. She'd analyzed financial reports, finding inefficiencies Min-Jae had missed. She'd attended meetings, offering insights that actually worked. The whispers changed. She's smart. She's valuable. Min-Jae was a fool. Du-hun had watched her transformation with quiet pride. Never claimed credit. Never demanded gratitude. Just supported. Protected. Believed. Why are you doing this? She'd asked him one night. Because I've always been the disappointment, he'd said. Too soft. Too kind. Too weak. But I'm not. I'm just different. And so are you. Min-Jae couldn't see value in different. I can. He'll think we're together. Let him think what he wants. It'll cause problems. It already has. Du-hun had smiled. But you're worth it. Not romantic. Not possessive. Just honest. And Nia had realized something crucial. This was what respect felt like. 2 weeks after the divorce, she'd walked into that syndicate meeting beside Du-hun. Not as his girlfriend. Not as his assistant. As his equal. And when Min-Jae had walked through those doors, she'd felt nothing. The woman who'd loved him was dead. Make sure to like this video if you're Team Nia. Comment below who you think she should end up with. This story is about to get even more intense. The confrontation in the hallway replayed in Min-Jae's mind for days. Her cold eyes. Her steady voice. The complete absence of the woman he'd married. He tried to focus on work. Failed. Tried to forget her. Failed. Tried to convince himself he was better off. Failed spectacularly. The syndicate noticed. You seem distracted. Elder Cho observed during a financial meeting. I'm fine. The Busan situation requires focus. I said I'm fine. But he wasn't. Numbers blurred on reports. Strategies felt hollow. Everything tasted like ash. And meanwhile, Nia's star rose. She'd negotiated a truce with a rival faction. Something Min-Jae had been trying to accomplish for 6 months. She'd done it in 3 days. How? He'd demanded when he'd heard. Elder Park had shrugged. She listened to their concerns. Found common ground. Offered solutions instead of threats. That's not how we do things. Maybe it should be. Min-Jae had wanted to argue. But the results spoke for themselves. He started showing up wherever she was. Syndicate meetings, business dinners, negotiations. She never acknowledged him. Didn't need to. She commanded every room she entered. Du-hun stayed close. Not possessively. Supportively. Whispering advice. Sharing strategies. They worked together seamlessly. Like partners who'd known each other for years. It made Min-Jae's blood boil. 1 month after the divorce, he cornered Du-hun in the family estate's library. We need to talk. Du-hun didn't look up from his book. So talk. What are you doing with her? Working. That's all. What else would there be? Min-Jae slammed the book shut. Don't play games with me. Du-hun stood, eye to eye with his older brother. I'm not playing anything. You divorced her. You threw her away. I picked up the pieces. End of story. You're in love with her. I respect her. There's a difference. Respect. Min-Jae laughed bitterly. You always were soft. And you were always cruel. Guess which one she prefers? Min-Jae grabbed Do-hyun's collar. She's still my wife. No, she's not. Do-hyun removed his brother's hands calmly. You made sure of that. Legal documents. Remember, I can fix this. Can you? Do-hyun's expression was pitying. You broke something precious. You don't get to just glue it back together. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Live with it. Do-hyun walked out, leaving Min-Jae alone with his regrets. But Min-Jae wasn't done. Couldn't be done. He started small. Flowers delivered to her new apartment. The roses she used to love. She sent them back. With a note. Wrong woman. He tried gifts. A diamond necklace. The kind she used to admire in store windows. It arrived back at his office with a different note. I buy my own jewelry now. He tried grand gestures. Reserved her favorite restaurant. Had his assistant call with an invitation. She didn't show. Desperation crept in. He began making mistakes at work. Small ones at first. Then larger. Elder Cho noticed. Your focus is compromised. The old man said bluntly. I'm handling it. Handle it faster. The family can't afford weakness. The irony wasn't lost on Min-Jae. He'd divorced Nia for being a weakness. Now she was his. 2 months after the divorce, the Busan faction made a move. Aggressive. Violent. They hit one of the syndicate's warehouses. Killed 3 guards. War was coming. The syndicate gathered for an emergency meeting. Every major player, including Nia. She'd walked in wearing black. Professional. Powerful. She'd taken a seat at the main table. Not in the back. Not beside Do-hyun. At the table. Elder Park had nodded approvingly. Min-Jae had nearly lost his mind. We need to respond with force, Elder Cho argued. Show them we won't be intimidated. Force will escalate. Another elder countered. We need strategy. We need both, Min-Jae said. Hit them hard. Hit them fast. That's reactive, Nia said. All eyes turned to her. You have something better? Elder Cho challenged. Yes. She'd stood. Walked to the map on the wall. Busan hit our warehouse because we hit their shipping lane last month. Tit for tat. Expected. Boring. Get to the point, Min-Jae growled. She ignored him. They expect retaliation. More violence. Instead, we go diplomatic. Offer a meeting. Neutral ground. Peace talks. That's weak. Elder Cho scoffed. It's strategic. While they're preparing for war, we prepare for negotiation. During the meeting, we present evidence that their recent losses weren't our doing, but a third party trying to start a conflict between us. Silence. What third party? Min-Jae demanded. The Daegu faction. They've been trying to expand into Busan territory for months. Starting a war between us gives them the opening they need. You have proof. She'd pulled out a tablet. Showed financial records. Communication intercepts. Movement patterns. The room studied the evidence. Undeniable. Thorough. How did you get this? Elder Park asked. I asked the right questions. She'd looked at Min-Jae. And I listened to the answers. The meeting had voted. Unanimously. Peace talks with Busan. Pressure on Daegu. Nia's plan. Nia's strategy. As the room cleared, Min-Jae had approached her. That was impressive. Thank you. I mean it. You were always smart. I just never let me show it. She'd packed her tablet. I know. Nia. Don't. She'd stopped packing. Met his eyes. Whatever you're about to say, don't. I'm not interested in apologies. I'm not interested in explanations. I'm especially not interested in getting back together. Just listen. No. You listen. Her voice dropped. Deadly quiet. For 3 years, I begged you to see me. Not with words. With my eyes. My silence. My patience. I begged you to notice that I was drowning. You never did. You were too busy protecting your empire to protect your wife. I was trying to keep you safe. You were trying to keep me contained. Small. Controlled. Because a powerful wife is threatening. An invisible wife is convenient. That's not. It is. And we both know it. She'd zipped her bag. I don't blame you anymore. I did for a while. But now I just feel sorry for you. Sorry for me. You had something real. Something rare. A partner who would have walked through fire for you. And you threw it away because people whispered. She'd walked toward the door. Stopped. You didn't lose me to Du-hun. You didn't lose me to the syndicate. You lost me to your fear. And that's something I can't fix. She'd left. And Min-Jae had stood there, surrounded by empty chairs, finally understanding what he'd destroyed. The peace talks with Busan happened at a neutral location. Upscale hotel. Private conference room. Heavy security. Min-Jae attended, as did Du-hyun. Naya. Elder Park. 3 elders from Busan. The negotiations were tense. Accusations flew. Tempers flared. Naya remained calm. Presented evidence. Explained the Daegu connection. Offered solutions. The Busan elders listened. Grudgingly respected her logic. By the end of the day, a truce was reached. Temporary. Fragile. But real. As everyone packed up, the lead Busan elder approached Nia. "You're the ex-wife," he said in Korean. "I am. Kang Min-Jae is a fool." She smiled. "Yes, he is." The elder chuckled. "If you ever tire of Seoul, Busan could use someone like you." "I'll keep that in mind." Min-Jae had watched the exchange. Jaw clenched. Hands fisted. Later, in the car back to Seoul, he'd exploded. "Busan offered you a job?" "A compliment," Nia corrected. She was reviewing notes on her tablet. "Same thing." "Not really. You're not going to Busan." She looked up. "I'm not going anywhere. I like Seoul." "Good. But not because you forbid it." Back to her notes. "Because I choose to stay." Du-hun Na, driving, smirked. Min-Jae glared at his brother. "Something funny?" "Everything," Du-hun replied. "You had her loyalty for free. Now you can't buy it at any price." "Shut up. Truth hurts." Hong. The rest of the drive was silent. Tense. Min-Jae stared out the window, watching Seoul blur past. When they arrived at syndicate headquarters, Nia got out first. "Thank you for the ride," she said politely. To Du-hun. Min-Jae got out. "Nia. Wait." She paused. Didn't turn around. "I need you to understand something," he said. "I never wanted to hurt you. But you did. I know. And I'm sorry. Truly." She turned then. Okay. I accept your apology. Thank you for saying it." Hope flared in his chest. "Does that mean?" "It means I accept your apology. Nothing more." The hope died. "I can change," he said desperately. "I can be different. Better. I'm sure you can." She adjusted her bag. "But not for me. I'm done being someone's motivation to improve. I'm done waiting for men to see my value. I see it now. Too late. 2 words. Final. Absolute. There has to be something I can do," he pleaded. "Some way to fix this." "There isn't. Because I don't want you to fix it. I don't want you back, Min-Jae. I don't want your apologies or your promises or your regrets. I want you to leave me alone. I can't. You can. You just won't." She started walking. "That's not my problem anymore." Du-hun followed her inside. Left Min-Jae standing in the parking garage. Alone. 3 months after the divorce, the syndicate threw a celebration. The Busan truce was holding. Profits were up. The Daegu situation was resolved. It was held at the family estate. Lavish. Excessive. All the major players attended. Naya arrived with Du-hun. She wore emerald green. Stunning. Every head turned. Min-Jae watched from across the room. He'd brought a date. Some model. Beautiful. Vapid. A statement. If Nia noticed, she didn't show it. The evening progressed. Toasts were made. Deals were discussed. Alliances were strengthened. Min-Jae drank too much. Watched Nia too closely. His date noticed. "You're staring," she whispered. "I'm observing. You're obsessing." He didn't deny it. Later, when Nia stepped outside for air, he followed. The garden was quiet. String lights glowed softly. The party noise faded. "You're following me now," Nia said without turning around. "We need to talk. We've talked. Multiple times. It never goes anywhere. Because you won't give me a chance." She turned. "A chance to do what? Win me back? Convince me you've changed? Save your ego?" "All of the above." At least he was honest. "I brought a date tonight," she said. His stomach dropped. I noticed. Did you notice who she is? He hadn't paid attention. Should I have? She's the daughter of Elder Kim, from the Daegui faction. Min-Jae's brain stuttered. What? We've been negotiating a merger. Business. Not romantic. Her family's shipping routes combined with our distribution network. It's brilliant. Mutually beneficial. You're working with Daegu. I'm building bridges instead of burning them. Novel concept. He felt like an idiot. I thought. You thought I brought a date to make you jealous. Everything isn't about you. Then what is it about? Growth. Power. Building something that lasts. She stepped closer. You taught me that. Be careful what you teach people. They might learn. Nia, stop saying my name like it's a prayer. I'm not your salvation. You could be. I don't want to be. She walked past him toward the house. Find someone else to save you. I'm busy saving myself. She left him in the garden. Again. Always leaving. Always moving forward. If you've made it this far, drop a comment telling me what you think. Should Min-Jae keep trying, or should he let her go? Hit that like button and share this video with someone who loves a good redemption story, or a good revenge story. This one's both. 4 months after the divorce, Elder Cho died. Heart attack. Sudden. Devastating. The power vacuum was immediate. The syndicate gathered to elect a new second in command. 3 candidates emerged. All men. All traditional. All expecting to win. Then Do-Hyen nominated Nia. The room erupted. She's not family, one elder protested. She was. Do-Hyen countered. Marriage counts. Divorced marriage doesn't. She's done more for this syndicate in 4 months than most of you have done in 4 years. Do-Hun said bluntly. The Busan truce. The Daegu merger. The Incheon roots. All her. All brilliant. All profitable. She's a woman. So, Do-Hun's voice was ice. Last I checked, profit has no gender. Elder Park stood. I second the nomination. More eruption. Arguments. Accusations. Min-Jae sat silently, watching Nia. She looked calm, prepared, like she'd expected this. Vote. Elder Park called. The vote was close, razor thin. But when the hands were counted, Nia won. By 2 votes, she stood, bowed respectfully. I won't let you down. You better not, one of the opposing elders grumbled. The meeting adjourned. People filed out, congratulating, scheming, adjusting. Min-Jae waited until the room cleared, then approached her. Congratulations. Thank you. You planned this. I prepared for it. There's a difference. Elder Cho's death was unexpected and unfortunate. She met his eyes. I'm not a monster. I didn't want him dead. But I'm also not naive. I knew a vacancy would happen eventually. I made sure I was ready. You've changed. I've evolved. She gathered her notes. Evolution is survival. And what am I? Extinct. The word hit like a bullet. That's harsh, he said. It's honest. She paused. You taught me that the weak get eaten. So I got strong. Now you're upset I learned the lesson too well. I'm not upset. You're devastated. I can see it. Every time you look at me. She stepped closer. Want to know the truth, Min-Jae? The real, ugly truth? Yes. I don't hate you. Hate requires passion, investment, emotion. I feel nothing when I look at you. You're a stranger who happens to know where I'm ticklish. That's all. He flinched. That hurts you more than hatred would, she continued. Because hatred means you still matter. Indifference means you don't. I matter, he said desperately. I have to matter. Why? Because I loved you. Because I still don't. She held up a hand. Don't say it. It's not fair. Since when do you care about fair? Since I realized fairness is a luxury I can't afford. She picked up her bag. You divorced me. You don't get to love me. Those are the rules. You wrote them. Rules can change, not these ones. She walked toward the door. He followed. What if I fight for you? He asked. Then you'll lose. I'll fight anyway. Your funeral. She left. He watched her go, feeling something break inside his chest. Do-Hyen appeared beside him. You okay? No. Good. Neither was she for 3 years. Min-Jae looked at his brother. Really looked. Saw the quiet strength. The steady presence. The everything he'd dismissed as weakness. You love her, Min-Jae said. I respect her. I've told you this. That's not an answer. Du-han considered. If she asked me to love her, I would. Gladly. But she hasn't asked. Probably won't. So I'll settle for being her friend, her partner, her support. That's enough for you. It's everything. Du-han smiled sadly. You still don't understand. Love isn't possession. It's presence. And you were never present. Even when you were standing right beside her. He walked away, leaving Min-Jae alone with realizations that came too late. 5 months after the divorce, the Busan truce shattered, not because of violence, because of business. A Busan captain went rogue, started smuggling independently, used syndicate routes without permission. War was back on the table. Emergency meeting. High tension. Everyone on edge. We hit them now, one elder demanded. Show them betrayal has consequences. The captain went rogue, Nia argued. The Busan leadership didn't authorize it. Doesn't matter. Their territory. Their responsibility. So we destroy a profitable alliance over one man's greed. We show strength. We show stupidity. Nia stood. I'll go to Busan. Talk to their leadership. Get the captain handed over. Maintain the alliance. Too dangerous. Elder Park said. I'll go with her. Du-han offered. Still dangerous. I'll go. Everyone turned. Min-Jae had spoken. You. Nia's eyebrows rose. Me. Former boss. Current syndicate head. It sends a message. It sends confusion. It sends strength. You're second in command. I'm first. Together, we show unity. The elders murmured, considering. Fine, Nia said. But I lead the negotiation. Agreed. They left for Busan the next morning. Private car. Tense silence. 2 hours into the drive, Nia spoke. Why did you volunteer? Protect you. I don't need protection. I know. But I needed to be there anyway. More silence. You're different, she observed. How so? Quieter. Less. Arrogant. Arrogance is exhausting. She almost smiled. Took you long enough to realize. I'm a slow learner. Understatement. The meeting with Busan leadership was brutal. Accusations flew. Threats were made. But Nia remained calm. Presented facts. Offered solutions. Min-Jae stayed silent. Let her work. Supported when needed. By the end, the rogue captain was handed over. The alliance held. On the drive back, Nia looked at Min-Jae. Thank you. For what? Letting me lead. Not undermining me. You didn't need me to let you do anything. You're perfectly capable, I know. But acknowledgement is nice. They drove in comfortable silence. Different from before. Easier. Can I ask you something? Min-Jae said. Depends. Do you ever miss it? Us. She thought for a long moment. I miss who I thought you were. The man who courted me. Who made me laugh. Who promised me the world. He's still here. No, he's not. He was a performance. A mask. The real you is the one who divorced me to save face. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. You taught me that too. More silence. For what it's worth, Min-Jae said quietly, I'm sorry. Truly. Deeply. Eternally sorry. I know. Does it change anything? No. Why not? Because sorry doesn't rebuild trust. Actions do. And your actions showed me exactly who you are when things get hard. You fold. You sacrifice. You protect yourself first. People can change. Maybe. But I can't wait around to find out. I've waited enough. They arrived back in Seoul as the sun set. The city glowed. Beautiful.
Be different.
Thank you for coming with me, Nia said as they pulled up to syndicate headquarters. Any time. She got out. Then paused. Min-Jae. Yes. I hope you find what you're looking for. Truly. But it won't be me. She walked inside. Min-Jae sat in the car. Engine running. Heart breaking. 6 months after the divorce, Min-Jae made a decision. He called a syndicate meeting. Full attendance. Everyone required. When Nia and Du-hyun arrived, confusion was evident. What's this about? Elder Park asked. Min-Jae stood. I'm stepping down. Gasps. Outrage. Shock. You can't. One elder protested. I can. And I am. Who will lead? I nominate Nia Brooks as first in command. The room exploded. Nia stood. What are you doing? What I should have done 6 months ago. Recognizing talent. Stepping aside. I don't want this because you're giving it to me. I want to earn it. You have earned it. Every day. Every decision. Every strategy. You've been leading already. I'm just making it official. And you.
I'll stay as an advisor. If you'll have me. But the syndicate needs someone who puts it first. That's you, not me. The vote was called. Despite protests, despite tradition, Nia won. Overwhelmingly. She stood at the head of the table. First woman to lead a Korean mafia syndicate. I accept, she said. On one condition. Name it, Elder Park said. No more judging people by what they look like. Or who they're related to. Or what traditions say. We judge by results. By character. By strength. Agreed. The meeting adjourned. People congratulated her. Schemes began. Min-Jae approached. Congratulations. Thank you. I meant what I said. About advising. If you want. I'll think about it. Fair enough. He turned to leave. Min-Jae. He stopped. Why did you really step down? Because I finally understood. You don't need me to give you power. You have it. You earned it. And watching you lead, it's the closest thing to redemption I'll get. That's not your redemption to claim. I know. But it's a start. He left. For the first time, without looking back. The weeks that followed were transformative. Nia led with confidence. Intelligence. Compassion balanced with strength. Profits increased. Alliances strengthened. Respect grew. Duhan remained her right hand. Partner. Friend. Min-Jae kept his word. Advised when asked. Stayed out of the way otherwise. One evening, 3 weeks after the power transfer, Nia found Min-Jae in the estate library. We need to talk, she said. Okay. She sat across from him. I've been thinking. About. You. Me. What happened? His heart raced. And I realize I was partly responsible. No. Let me finish. I stayed silent when I should have spoken. Accepted limits when I should have fought. Made myself small when I could have been big. I forced you to do those things. You created the environment. I chose to accept it. We were both wrong. What are you saying? I'm saying I forgive you. Fully. Completely. Not because you deserve it. But because I deserve peace. Thank you. But forgiveness isn't reconciliation. I forgive the man who hurt me. I don't want him back. I understand. Do you? Really? I do. Min-Jae smiled sadly. You've moved on. I'm still catching up. Take your time. Just don't wait for me while you do. She stood to leave. Nia? Yes? If there was a way to go back. To do it all differently. Would you? She considered. No. No. Because then, I wouldn't be who I am now. Strong. Independent. Free. And I like who I am now. More than I ever liked being your wife. It hurt. But it was true. I'm glad, he said. And meant it. She smiled. Genuine. Kind. Goodbye, Minj-Jae. Goodbye, Nia. She left. And this time, when she walked away, Min-Jae felt something shift. Not healing. Not yet. But acceptance. And maybe that was enough. 7 months after the divorce, the syndicate held its annual gala. Nia attended as the guest of honor. Leader. Boss. Power in emerald silk. Duhan escorted her. Still not romantic. Still supportive. Still everything Min-Jae had failed to be. Min-Jae attended alone, watched from the sidelines, proud, sad, free. The evening progressed. Speeches were made. Nia addressed the crowd. A year ago I was nobody, she said. Invisible, voiceless, powerless. Today, I stand before you as your leader, not because anyone gave me permission, but because I took it. Applause. I learned something this year. Power isn't given. It's claimed. Respect isn't granted. It's earned. And love without respect is just control with better marketing. Laughter. Agreement. To the women in this room who feel invisible, you're not. You're gathering strength.
Don't let anyone convince you that silence equals weakness. Sometimes silence is strategy. Standing ovation. As the crowd dispersed, Min-Jae found himself face to face with Nia one last time. That was a hell of a speech, he said. Thank you. Was any of it directed at me? Does it matter? Not really. But I'm curious. It was directed at the woman I was. The woman you helped create. And the woman I became despite you. I like her. The woman you became. So do I. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. It's worth something. Not everything. But something. They stood in comfortable silence. Former spouses. Current colleagues. Future unknowns. Will you ever love again? Min-Jae asked. Probably. When I find someone who loves all of me. Not just the convenient parts. He'll be lucky. She might be too. I haven't decided yet. Min-Jae laughed. Genuinely. Fair enough. And you? Will you love again? I'm trying to love myself first. Turns out, I don't much like the man I became. Growth looks good on you. It's uncomfortable as hell. The best things usually are. The music swelled. Couples danced. The night continued. Dance with me? Min-Jae asked. Nia considered. One dance. For closure. For closure, he agreed. They moved to the dance floor. His hand on her waist. Her hand on his shoulder. Proper distance. Respectful. Do you regret it? He asked as they swayed. Any of it? The pain? Yes. The growth? No. The marriage? It had to happen to bring me here. So, no regrets. I regret everything. Then learn from it. Be better. For the next woman. For yourself. There won't be a next woman. There will be. When you're ready. When you've healed. When you've become someone worthy of love. Am I not worthy now? You're becoming worthy. That's different. Better even. The song ended. They separated. Bowed slightly. Thank you for the dance, Nia said. Thank you for the lesson. Which one? All of them. She smiled. Then walked back to Do-hyun, who handed her champagne and made her laugh. Min-Jae watched. Not with jealousy. Not anymore. With gratitude. Because she was right. The woman he'd married was gone. And the woman she'd become, she was magnificent. And finally, he could see it. Before we wrap up, I need you to do something. If this story moved you, if it made you think, if it resonated in any way, hit that subscribe button right now. Click the notification bell so you never miss a story like this video to help more people discover it. And comment below, what would you have done in Nia's place? Would you have forgiven, taken power, moved on? Your comments fuel these stories. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's rebuilding themselves. Someone who's finding their power. This is more than entertainment. It's a reminder. Let's spread it. 8 months after the divorce, Min-Jae received an invitation. Nia was hosting a summit. International syndicate leaders. Expanding operations. Building alliances. He was invited as a former leader, an advisor, a guest. He attended. Sat in the audience. Watched her command a room of dangerous men. She was fluent, confident, brilliant. After the summit, at the private dinner, she approached his table. Thank you for coming. Wouldn't have missed it. How does it feel? Watching from the audience. Strange. Good. Right. No resentment. None. Just pride. She studied him. You've changed. So have you. I've evolved. You've transformed. There's a difference. What's the difference? Evolution is survival. Transformation is choice. You chose to become better. That matters. Not to you, though. It matters. Just not in the way you want it to. I know. A man approached. Tall. Handsome. Confident. Nia, the ambassador wants to speak with you. Thank you, James. She turned to Min-Jae. James is my new second in command. Brilliant strategist. Min-Jae shook the man's hand. Take care of her. I intend to. Min-Jae smiled. Take care of myself, actually. But thanks for the concern. She walked away with James. Professional. Easy. Natural. Do-hyun sat beside Min-Jae. You okay? Yeah. I am. Really. Really. She deserves happiness. Whatever form it takes. That's growth. Hung.
Feels like loss.
Sometimes they're the same thing. Min-Jae watched Nia across the room, laughing, thriving, alive. I loved her, he said quietly. I know. I just didn't know how to show it. Love without action is just a feeling. She needed action. I know that now. Will you love again? Maybe. When I figure out how to love without controlling. When I learn that strength in a partner isn't a threat. You'll get there. You sound sure. I am. Because you're my brother. And beneath all the arrogance and control issues, there's a decent man. He's just been buried under pride for too long. Help me dig him out. Always. They sat in companionable silence. Brothers. Different paths. Same destination. 10 months after the divorce, Min-Jae opened a new business. Legitimate. Legal. Consulting for corporations, navigating complex international deals. He used everything he'd learned in the syndicate, the strategy, the negotiation, the reading people. But differently. Ethically. It was slower. Harder. Less profitable. But cleaner. He liked it. One afternoon, Nia visited his office. Heard you went legitimate, she said. Rumors travel fast. I have good sources. She looked around. Nice space. It's small. It's honest. That's bigger than you think. What brings you here? Business proposal. He raised an eyebrow. The syndicate needs legitimate fronts for certain operations. I want to hire your firm. That's unexpected. It's strategic. You know our operations. You understand both worlds, and I trust you. You trust me. Professionally. Don't get cocky. He laughed. Deal. Send me the details. Already emailed them. Efficient as always. She stood to leave. Paused at the door. Min-Jae. Yeah, I'm glad you found your path. So am I. It suits you. The honest businessman thing. You say that like you're surprised. I am. Pleasantly. People change. Some people. Not all. But some. She smiled. You're some people. She left. And Min-Jae sat at his desk, feeling something he hadn't felt in months. Hope. Not for reconciliation. That ship had sailed. But for himself, his future, his growth. 1 year after the divorce, the syndicate celebrated another successful year under Nia's leadership. Record profits. 0 internal conflicts. International expansion. The celebration was massive. Everyone attended. Min-Jae arrived with a date. A lawyer he'd met through work. Smart. Kind. Normal. Nia noticed. Approached them. Min-Jae. Good to see you. You too. He introduced his date. This is Sarah. Pleasure to meet you. Nia said warmly. Min-Jae's told me about you. Says you're brilliant. Sarah blushed. He's biased. He's usually critical. So if he says you're brilliant, you're probably a genius. They laughed. Talked. Connected. Later, when Sarah went to get drinks, Nia and Min-Jae stood alone. She's lovely, Nia said. She is. You seem happy. I'm getting there. Good. You deserve happiness. So do you. Are you? Happy? Very. The syndicate is thriving. I'm thriving. Life is good. Anyone special in your life? Maybe. Still figuring it out. Take your time. Don't settle. Never again. They stood in comfortable silence. Former lovers. Current friends. Future unknowns. Can I tell you something? Min-Jae asked. Sure. Divorcing you was the worst decision of my life. But it was also the catalyst for the best changes. Paradox. Yeah, I get it. Marrying you was a mistake that led me to myself. So, same. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I'd been different? If I'd supported you from the start? Sometimes. But I don't dwell. That's not the story we got. This is. And you're okay with this story. I'm more than okay. I'm proud of it. Of us. Of how we grew. Even though we grew apart. Especially because we grew apart. Some people are meant to be chapters. Not the whole book. Wise. Hard-earned. Sarah returned with drinks. The conversation shifted. Lightened. As the evening progressed, Min-Jae watched Nia work the room. Commanding. Graceful. Powerful. He felt no jealousy. No regret. No longing. Just appreciation for the journey. Because she was right. Some people are chapters. And their chapter had ended. But the story continued. Different paths, different characters, different lessons, but continued nonetheless. As the night ended, Nia addressed the crowd one final time. A year ago, I stood before you as a new leader, uncertain, untested, unproven. Today, I stand before you as your boss, not because of gender, not because of circumstance, but because of results. Applause. I didn't get here alone. I had support. From Do-hyun, who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. From Elder Park, who took chances on unconventional choices. From all of you, who gave me the space to prove myself. More applause. And from Min-Jae. The room went quiet. Nia looked directly at him. You taught me what I didn't want to be. And in doing so, you showed me exactly who I needed to become. So thank you. For the lessons. For the pain. For stepping aside when it mattered. She raised her glass. To growth. To change. To becoming who we're meant to be. Even when the journey breaks us first. The room raised their glasses. To growth. Min-Jae raised his glass. Met her eyes across the room. She nodded. Slightly. Respectfully. He nodded back. And in that moment, they both understood. They were done. Truly done. Not with bitterness. Not with resentment. But with gratitude for what was. And acceptance of what wasn't. As the night ended and people filtered out, Min-Jae found himself alone on the balcony. Do-hyun joined him, thinking deep thoughts, thinking how strange life is. How so? A year ago, I had everything. Wife, power, respect. Now I have none of those things. But I'm happier, because you have something better. What's that? Yourself. The real version. Not the mask. The real version isn't as impressive. But he's honest. That's worth more. They stood in silence. Brothers. Finally on the same page. Do you love her? Min-Jae asked. Nia, I respect her deeply. Admire her immensely. Love her as a friend. But not romantically, no. And she doesn't love me that way either. We're partners. Equals. That's enough. Lucky man. Lucky woman too. She found herself. That's rarer than finding love. Truth. The night air was cool. The city below pulsed with life. You going to be okay, Hung? Yeah, I am. Finally. Good. Because I've got another business proposal for you. Oh. Nia and I are expanding into Europe. We need legal counsel. Legitimate. Clean. You want me? We want your firm. If you're interested. Min-Jae considered. Working with them. Professionally. Respectfully. I'm interested. Good. We'll talk details next week. Do-hyun left. Min-Jae stayed on the balcony, watching the city, feeling the breeze. Sarah found him. Ready to go? Yeah, let's go. They left together. New chapter. New story. New possibilities. And as Min-Jae walked away from the syndicate building for the last time that night, he didn't look back. Because some chapters end, and new ones begin. And that's not just okay. That's perfect. The woman he'd divorced became the force he could never control. And the man he'd been became the man he needed to be. Different paths. Same growth. And in the end, that's what mattered most. Not the love they'd lost, but the people they'd found. Themselves. Thank you for watching this story until the very end. If you loved this journey, if Nia's strength inspired you, if Min-Jae's growth moved you, show some love. Hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel for more powerful stories about redemption, transformation, and finding yourself. Drop a comment telling me what you think. Team Nia all the way, or did Min-Jae earn some redemption? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Someone rebuilding. Someone finding their strength. Someone learning that walking away is sometimes the strongest thing you can do. Your support keeps these stories coming. Until next time, remember, you are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become. Peace.